Channel 3.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Beth Farnsworth.
And I'm CJ Ward. More continuing live coverage now of the Thomas fire. Let's take a look at the latest numbers. The fire has burned 272,000 acres. It is 60% contained. The small growth overnight was due to rising humidity. Firefighters are inching toward containment, but just a short time ago, the winds started blowing, and the question is, what does that mean for the firefighters?
Yeah, good news that they're sort of been on this new mission of seek and destroy most of this week, because not seeing a lot of active fire. It's very windy outside. Winds are continuing to accelerate, and I think that's going to be the case here for at least the next few hours, and then sort of stay strong and gusty through maybe early Thursday morning. Santa Barbara County under a wind advisory until 3 a.m. Thursday. Ventura County from 8 p.m. tonight into about Thursday morning as well, but about 10 o'clock there. Check out the San Marcos Pass, now gusting at about 40 miles per hour, and that's quite a different story from what we saw just a few hours ago. Also windy out there at the Botanic Gardens and out across the Montecito area. So winds continuing to pick up. Red flag warning goes into effect Santa Barbara County right around 6 o'clock tonight, and then later tonight for Ventura County.
Okay, and we know that we're waiting for that 4 o'clock meeting. Sounds like they're there. They're asking people to sit down, take their seats. Let's listen in now.
With the Santa Barbara City Fire Department. As we get started, a couple housekeeping items. Reminder really quick to turn off all of those cell phones so we don't have any interruptions. And restrooms, as you know, are located in the lobby back behind us near the main entrance. The format, again, tonight, we're going to keep it the same because we have realized it's working really well. We're at the end, we're going to have all the questions saved for the speakers. They will meet you up here at front, and they will be able to answer your questions on a one-on-one basis. As we get started tonight, we would like to take this opportunity to once again just reiterate our thank you, and primarily to the Santa Barbara Unified School District, to their staff for allowing us to use this facility for the last 2 weeks. It's been a fantastic facility. Their use of all the audio visual equipment to show things on the screen, use of the microphones, and use of all of the equipment here to make it possible, including their staff. We'd also like to thank all of those audio visual technicians, as well as our local news media, who have worked tirelessly to allow you to watch this not only here in public, but to broadcast it through different social media means to help get that information out to you, the public. We would also like to thank Joe Black. If we could offer her a round of applause for all of her hard work. She is here with the Independent Living Resource Center and has allowed us to get the word out and the message out about the information about the fire to a larger audience. And without her, a lot of that wouldn't be possible. So thank you, Joe. Well, as we turn the corner on this fire, I know everybody's really eager to hear what's going on with the fire, where we're headed, and what we're looking for in the next couple days as we turn the corner and make that transition to hopefully get containment wrapped around this fire and get everybody home. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, which is Deputy Incident Commander Rocky Oplinger.
Thank you. Again, my name is Rocky Oplinger. My full-time job is Deputy Chief for Emergency Operations for the Laverne Fire Department, and I am the Deputy Incident Commander and one of the Unified Commanders for the incident. Just an update on acreage, and some of you have already seen that in the intel. It is 272,000 acres at this point with 60% containment. We're at a cost of just under $157 million. Just incredible efforts, and really commend, first of all the agencies here within both Santa Barbara County and Ventura County, both law enforcement, fire, emergency services, for their incredible relationships. The plans that they had in place that were initiated when the fire made significant runs, certainly Montecito, Carpinteria, and Santa Barbara City, the effectiveness of the resources in there were first based on the folks that have local knowledge that were mixed in with those resources that were brought from not only all over the state, but actually all over the country. I think at the time of the height and the significant fire behavior we experienced a few days ago, I think we had about 600 engines that were assigned just on the Santa Barbara side of the complex. So really just a testament to the relationships, certainly as one of our teams, the California National Team 4 and CAL FIRE Team 4 came together to provide the command structure and organizational structure for the incident. And so with the good successes we'll see, and we'll hear from Chief Childers on where we're going with this. We have released many resources in the last 24 hours. Approximately 2,000 resources have been released to go home to their home units. Most of those are engines, some crews, but he'll tell you where we're sitting at, that we'll see that significant decline just because we're really getting really close to reaching, we think, eventually our containment objectives. So on behalf of our team, the command structures, again, I see our chiefs out there. I can't say enough about the cooperation from all the agencies and our law enforcement components. Thank you, first of all, for your patience, especially those that are still in the evacuated areas, and for folks that got to go home, and certainly those that were impacted by either damage or structure loss to their private residence. Thank you.
Hi, Chris Childers, Santa Barbara County Fire Department. And the rock star says I need to tell you good news. Well, we do have some good news, I think. But let me just start by reminding everybody, I sometimes seem very optimistic. I'm kind of an optimist. This has not been a perfect fire. This has been a nightmare of a fire for a lot of people, and a lot of you included. We had a problem on the other side where we lost one of our fire family members, and so there's overall, this isn't the best time in the world, but right now we have some really good news that we have secured the Santa Barbara side of this fire, and I believe we've done it so well that we're now getting the test. And the wind test that's coming tonight will be the true test to see that we have done our job correctly. We have the Pendola area sealed off completely. On our maps, this part, the road system and the slopovers will be black tomorrow. We've blackened this already. And this part right here is a big chunk that we've been working on. And then last night I stopped there. I did not tell you how great things were going in the front country here, and I apologize for that. Somebody mentioned it last night. Do you see all of this area in here? This is all black, all the way from the county line all the way to here, right? Okay, and those that maybe I missed the night, I haven't been explaining myself every time, but black line means that we're pretty solidly, completely convinced that we're not going to lose that line. And that whole front country, as you see, and the hand is helping me with, apparently they can't see the black dot over the cameras, or the red dot. So anyway, all the way over, we've left the Gibraltar Road area red for the test that we're having right now. And you see the wind's coming. The wind is going to bring a lot of ash down here, but there's not much smoke left to bring with it. So there will be particulates. It will be pretty bad tonight, and I'm sure others are going to talk about visibility and driving and things like that. But we hope to see no fire. And because of that, we're hoping that we let all of you back in your homes tomorrow, provided this all works, and provided I'm not too much of an optimist, I will be, and this will be our last public meeting, because no one wants to see me try and do the jig up here on stage. So that's where we are with the fire. Some of the lessons we learned from this fire, like we always learn from fires, is the fire, the effect fire history has on wildfires. Note here our current fire, and I've been telling you for days how right up here the fire stopped on the Zaca fire, 10-year-old fuels. And then note 2 days ago, or last Saturday, how the fire slopped into 8- and 9-year-old fuels, but didn't burn it. Now, I was an optimist saying that, and a lot of people were nervous about it because wind can push fire through very limited fuels. But that night, when Air Attack all afternoon told me it was coming through and we better prep Windy Gap, I was glad that it didn't happen, and we stopped it with the younger fuels. Now, this, you notice there's a little fire history of all of Santa Barbara County. We're no strangers to fire, correct? And yet, you notice a lot of these fires. You have the Jesucita that stopped right above the T fire, and we burnt into both of them and stopped this fire. And this fire had the chance and the potential. You know, with that wind event last Saturday, it had the potential to keep going if it had fuels to burn, right? The same thing with the Gap Fire, burned a lot of old fuels. There you go. Because the 1955 Refugio Fire burned that whole front country basically from the Highway 154 all the way out to Gaviota. That's the blue underneath. And then we watched the Sherpa Fire come last year, and the Whittier Fire this year burned right into it and stopped. It burned right into the Gap Fire and stopped. There's no coincidence that these things happen. This heavy chaparral burns really well when it's old and decadent, and not very well when it's younger. You change in weather, change in winds, we get some retardant in the younger fuels, and we can stop fires. So just a message for you guys to remember. Oh, and also the Ray Fire, which we burned right into the Zaka Fire, and it stopped. There's a pattern here, something to think about. We need to get going with our fuel management and our prescribed burning in the future. But in the meantime, we've got this fire pretty much done. And so tomorrow night at this time, hopefully you'll all be back in your homes and I'll be happy. If not, well, if I'm up on the hill and the fire goes to heck in a handbasket, well, then you know where I'll be and you can all pick on me later. Okay? Any questions? I'll be around right afterwards.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sheriff Bill Brown, and I'm here to speak to you about the Sheriff's Office responsibilities, which are evacuations, warnings, and providing security in evacuated areas. I'm pleased to tell you we have not had any changes in evacuation orders in the past 24 hours. There do, however, remain about 16,000 Santa Barbara County residents who are under mandatory evacuation order. There are also about 12,000 residents who are under an evacuation warning. And we know that those of you who are in evacuation areas are tired of being displaced and beyond eager to get back into your homes, especially during this holiday season. But we are concerned about the potential for tonight's wind event, and we don't want any of our residents to be in harm's way this evening if something should happen. We are working closely with the Fire Incident Command, and we are constantly evaluating repopulation based on the wind conditions and fire behavior. And our goal is to get everyone back into their homes safely as soon as possible. And as you heard, tonight will be a turning point in this fire, and it will be wind tested, and we are holding steady at the moment until we get past this event. Please remember that a great deal of consideration and strategy goes into deciding evacuation orders or warnings. They're not done lightly. And as we are all well aware, this fire has proven to be stubborn and unpredictable. And we certainly hope the wind event is uneventful, but we are prepared with the assistance of our mutual aid partners to be ready tonight, and we have plans in place in the event that we do need to conduct further evacuations. Our mutual aid partners are assisting us with providing security and manning roadblocks for evacuated areas. We believe a strong law enforcement presence is an important deterrent for potential criminal activity in the evacuation areas, and we want you to rest assured that we are patrolling those evacuation areas to ensure that your property is safe while you are away and that no one is in the area that is not supposed to be there. We ask that everyone in the Santa Barbara front country remain vigilant tonight. Have your cell phones charged to ensure that you would get any alert that might be sent out. Please be aware, continue to be aware and prepared. Remember, if you are in a mandatory evacuation area, it is not safe for you to be there and you should leave. If you are in an evacuation warning area, you should be prepared to leave at a moment's notice. Do not put yourself in a position to be scrambling to evacuate in the last minute, and be prepared to leave quickly if you are told to leave. If you're uncertain as to whether or not you are in a mandatory evacuation area or a warning area, you can visit the interactive map on the Santa Barbara County website at www.countyofsb.org. If you have questions, or if you have any needs that we can assist you with related to this fire, you can call the Thomas Fire Information Line at 805-681-5542. Again, that's 805 855-681-5542. You can also call that information line if you don't have transportation and you need help with that. We have had a number of people who, throughout this fire, were in evacuation areas. They did not have their own transportation. We set up a transportation section, and tonight that's going to be my special thank you and shout out. It's staffed by custody deputies from our jail, and they are engaged every day in helping people either leave an evacuated area or with emergency situations where they needed, if they were out of that area when it was evacuated, to go with them so that they could get prescription medications or to retrieve pets and so forth. We appreciate their actions, and let me just close by saying we appreciate all of your continued patience and cooperation as we get through this fire together. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Cindy Ponce, the Santa Barbara, California Highway Patrol Captain. We will again close the 154 in the morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. So please avoid the 154 and use the 101 as an alternate route. We want to advise all drivers to stay alert as the winds do have the potential to blow ash and smoke across the roadways. If you encounter smoky conditions while driving, I wanted to go over a few tips with you. So drive with your lights on a low beam. Don't drive with your high beams on. Slow down. Watch your speedometer. Be sure that you can stop within the distance that you can see in front of you. Smoke sometimes will create a visual illusion, kind of slow motion, so you think you're going slower than you really are. So be mindful of your speedometer. Speed is definitely a factor in most smoke-related collisions, so slow down. Listen for traffic that you cannot see, just like in the fog, you need to listen. Watch out for slow-moving vehicles or stopped vehicles on the roadway. Make sure you turn off your radio in the car, put your cell phones away. You need your full attention while you're driving. Well, all times, but especially in the smoke. Use your wipers and defrosters liberally for maximum visibility, especially in the early morning hours. Use the right edge of the roadway as a guide while you're driving. Be very patient. Avoid passing cars or changing lanes. Signal your turns well in advance so people behind you know that you're going to turn. Brake early when you're coming to a stop. Do not stop in a roadway. Do not stop on a freeway lane because you'll get rear-ended by the car behind you. And if you must pull off the roadway, signal, because people tend to follow taillights when they can't see. So signal that you're moving over and pull as far off the roadway as possible. If you are on the freeway, do not stop on the freeway, not even on the right shoulder. Exit the freeway and get yourself to a safe location. If you are stopped on the side of a roadway, do put your hazard lights on. And those tips will help you remain safe while driving in smoky conditions. Now, we want to thank the local newspapers and news medias for their continuing coverage of the most up-to-date information on this Thomas fire. We greatly appreciate you guys covering these town hall meetings for us so that we're able to get this information out to the public quickly. So please continue to be patient with us, and we are hoping for great news in the morning. So if you keep the firefighters in your thoughts and prayers tonight, that they will win this battle with the win tonight. Thank you for your continued support, and thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Ben Ellenberger with the Santa Barbara County Air Pollution Control District. The update on the air quality. Overall, throughout the entire county today, air quality has been good to moderate, but we're cautioning people to pay attention to conditions, and especially as the wind comes up and there's potential for wind-blown ash to expose people to particles. The other part of this is as people are coming back into their houses and they're starting to clean up after the fire, to think about protecting yourself and the people around you as you clean up. So you want to make sure that you're wearing an N95 mask and that you've put it on properly. You want to have long sleeve shirt on, long pants and gloves, and make sure that then you clean up afterwards before you eat or drink. When you're cleaning up, we're reminding everyone to not use leaf blowers. If you use leaf blowers, you put that ash back up into the air, you're exposing yourself to it, you're exposing the people around you to it. It's best to either use a broom to gently sweep it up or damp rags to clean it up. It's okay to put the ash in bags and put it in the trash. You can also sweep it onto your lawn or onto plants. We're asking people to be cautious and not hose it down into storm drains where it can get into the waterways. And as always, you can go to our website for current air quality information. It's ourair.org, and you can go to today's air quality. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Judith Smithmeyer. I'm the Communications Manager for the Food Bank of Santa Barbara County. On behalf of the Food Bank and everybody in the community, I want to thank all of the responders who are keeping us safe and just working so thoughtfully and collaboratively to minimize damage to property and life. And following on your lead, I'm really proud to be up here with, I'll let you introduce yourself, our collaborating organization with whom we're working to provide meals for kids who missed a lot of their daily nutrition when their schools closed and now during the winter break. So, Nancy?
Hello. My name is Nancy Weiss. I'm the Director of Food Service for Santa Barbara Unified School District. Thankfully, we are open for business and feeding the community at the West Side Boys and Girls Club and the Goleta Valley Boys and Girls Club. We opened up on Monday and we're serving tomorrow. We're providing sack lunches on Friday and snacks. And then again next week, the Boys and Girls Clubs are closed on Tuesday, and of course Monday is Christmas. But Wednesday, Thursday, and again on Friday, we will be providing meals. So I encourage and invite all families with their children to come. It's of course free, and we are serving hot homemade food. Tomorrow's chili rojo burritos and kiwi, and there's nothing better at a time like this than a hot meal, something good and nourishing to keep our spirits healthy and up. So thank you. Thanks, Judith.
Thank you. And then working with the school district to try to make sure all those kids who missed meals, that was in Santa Barbara, southern Santa Barbara County, more than 10,000 children qualify for free and reduced price lunch, which means the kids who received breakfast and lunch at school missed 7 days of breakfast and lunch when the schools closed early. Now schools are on break, so we're super grateful for the school district stepping in to provide hot lunches when they would normally be on vacation. And we're filling in lots of other areas. Carpinteria has a high need. 60% of kids there qualify for free and reduced lunch. We'll be providing meals there next week at the Carpinteria Boys and Girls Club, lunchtime, 12 to 2. And we'll be also providing lunches in addition to the school district at the Westside Boys and Girls Club next week and this week for the remainder of the week. We're offering lunches at the Food Bank Warehouse in Goleta today, tomorrow, and Friday, at the Franklin Community Center on the east side tomorrow and Friday as well. And then, and in addition, we're going to be covering Carpinteria Boys and Girls Club, providing lunchtime healthy meals through January 5th because they don't go back to school until January 8th. So the Carpinteria kids will be taking an additional hit. along with their families. And then ongoing, we are providing our emergency food distributions. Those are posted on our website at foodbanksbc, as in SantaBarbaraCounty.org. You can find up-to-date information there every day about where, what times, what addresses we're serving lunches and providing emergency food distributions. Everyone is welcome, no paperwork is required, and there's no age limit to receive any of the food that the food bank is distributing. And we want to thank our volunteer team. We have had thousands of people call in and come on the website to see how they can help, and we do need your help to distribute this food to kids and families throughout the winter break. So log on to foodbanksbc.org, find the Give Help tab, and click on Volunteer. You'll see a schedule of opportunities, and you can sign up there. And finally, I want to thank our donors. There has been a really resounding response from the community to this need, particularly of school children who are missing meals, but also of their families and many other people who are experiencing a precipitous loss of income because hourly workers are just not working. So 2 weeks now, people have gone without work. Providing for your family when normally the kids get meals at school is even harder when you don't have work. So our donors have been super responsive, and we encourage you to continue to contribute at foodbanksbc.org. And particularly, we want to send a shout out to school teachers who are responding really generously to knowing that their students don't have the opportunity to get those critical school meals every day. So we've had lots of comments from teachers who see in the classroom every day the impact of kids needing these meals. So thank you to the community, thank you to our responders for your exemplary collaboration, and thanks to our donors. Keep it coming. We really appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Suzanne Grimacy. I am working with the Santa Barbara County Emergency Operations Center. And when the EOC is not activated, I work for the Santa Barbara County Department of Behavioral Wellness. While we all remain vigilant to the fire's activity, to the wind that's starting to pick up and our wind test expected for tonight, a reminder of remaining vigilant to your own self-care and taking care of ourselves. This fire has had a tremendous impact on our community and all of us living within it. We received a hopeful message that people will be returning to their homes soon, but we enter another night where people are still displaced from homes, where businesses remain closed, where we have significant impact. So a reminder to take care of yourself. The Thomas Fire Information Line, again, there are flyers at the front. The Thomas Fire Information Line is available to answer questions about the fire, questions about evacuation, to help with transportation needs, but you can also call to talk to a counselor. And the number is 805-681-5542. I also wanted to share, given that tonight will be our last town hall meeting together, an activity that is being planned for Friday. The EOC is planning a resource and recovery assistance event, or drop-in, which will be taking place on Friday at Carpinteria Middle School from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock. The address is 5351 Carpinteria Avenue. And this event is a time that you can drop in. It's a time that you can come with questions to get resource information for things like, how do I rebuild? Where do I restart? Insurance questions, what else? Hazardous material removal, businesses who have lost business. Many, many questions and many resources will be there. We're just in the beginning of the planning for this, so more information will be coming. And again, this is just the beginning of our recovery process as a community. This is just the beginning of an opportunity for us to see our community resources become available and to get questions answered and to get assistance. So I wish this will be Friday, this Friday, December 22nd, from 10 until 2 at Carpinteria Middle School. And I will be available afterwards to answer any questions. I wish you the best for the evening.
I'm Jennifer Adame, Community Outreach Coordinator for Santa Barbara County Animal Services. I just have a quick update. We are still caring for a very large number of animals at all of our shelters. They're being lovingly cared for by an amazing team of staff and volunteers, and I want to make sure that I thank them tonight. They've been working overtime, really, really hard. Volunteers have come in, people who have been evacuated, they've given of their time to care for all of these animals, and we cannot thank them enough. Hopefully, as people are able to return to their homes tomorrow and Friday, we just thank you for being patient with us as you are reunited with your animals. It's going to be a big process. We'll make it happen. And I know that the animals want to go home for the holidays as well. So you can always still call our hotline if you have questions or you need assistance. It's 681-4332. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Len Nielsen. I'm part of the Watershed Emergency Response Team with CAL FIRE, and we coordinate with the U.S. Forest Service BEAR team, which is Burn Area Emergency Response Team. And together, we look at the post-fire effects of the watershed and where that may impact people within the state responsibility area as well as people along the federal lands. So as you can see on the map here, where's the laser pointer? Excuse me, right here. So the fire starts here, and as it goes around and had the two parts of the fire, and then it ends over here in Santa Barbara, that will be the way that we do most of the assessment for the post-fire effects. So right now we are starting, and we have completed phase 1 and phase 2 of the assessment along the Ojai area, and we'll be working around the fire to get to Santa Barbara. The 3 phases of this process are what we call a bark map, which is a satellite image of post-fire effects. So we see what burned up, and we compare that to what was there before, and we can deduce through formulas through the U.S. Forest Service and USGS how badly the fire burned the ground. Why does that matter? It matters because when it rains, it will help us determine debris flows and flood flows that come down off of the hillsides post-fire. And so that's the next step in this recovery process, is to look at what's going to come down off the hill. As you look behind us and toward the fire, we see a lot of black ground. That ground is now, in some places, pretty severely burned and will likely produce sediment and debris flows in those steep canyons and channels. So we look at what we call values at risk, and those values at risk include culverts, bridges, homes, roadways, things like that that the debris flow or flood may inundate. So that's the starting of the next phase of this post-fire recovery. And right now, CAL FIRE and the U.S. Forest Service are working together with the BEAR team and the Watershed Emergency Response Team, the WERT, in order to provide that information to the local counties and city and public utilities. And so we're starting that now, so you'll still see people out there in uniforms looking around, and those will be post-fire folks. So even though a lot of the engines will be going away, you'll start seeing hydrologists, geologists, civil engineers looking in the area from the Forest Service and from CAL FIRE. And we will hand this information off to the local EOCs, and the EOCs will then be delivering it to the information sites that you folks have already been visiting. So it takes about 3 weeks. So we're looking at a report being finalized in draft somewhere around mid-January. But we are starting now, and we have started on the east side of the fire, and we're continuing to work towards Santa Barbara. Just wanted to give you an update on that, and I'll be around after this for any questions.
Hi everyone, Kimberly Coley with your local Red Cross. I just want to provide an update on our shelter locations. We do still have 2 open shelter sites, one at the Ventura County Fairgrounds, and also one at UCSB right here in Santa Barbara County in their recreation center. We currently have roughly 400 clients still sleeping in our shelters overnight. Last night, our overnight count at the fairgrounds was 226, and Santa Barbara at UCSB, we had 167. In addition to providing overnight sheltering, of course, we've been providing 3 warm meals or hot meals a day, snacks, food, water, of course, a variety of health services, disaster mental health, and even spiritual care counseling. So I want to thank everyone who has partnered with us to make all of those services possible for our community members. We additionally have had so many volunteers step up. Many people have signed up online and have been going through orientations over the last few days, and so I want to just say thank you to community members who are here to help and take care of our friends and neighbors, especially through this time of the holiday season. As people hopefully start transitioning home, we do have caseworkers that will be working very closely with every affected individual and family to put together community recovery plans to ensure that they have all the resources that they need to make a smooth transition back to their day-to-day life. So we'll also be working with partners to provide referrals that will complement the services and potentially even financial assistance that the Red Cross will be able to provide. In addition to the casework, as part of the recovery process, our volunteers will also be going into the neighborhoods as family members are able to re-enter their place of residence, and they'll be providing cleanup supplies, emergency supplies such as rakes, shovels, gloves, masks, that sort of thing, as people are literally sifting through what could be remaining on their property. So just want to thank all of you for all of your support, and I think I mentioned the other night that the Red Cross has, between all the fires up and down the coast, at one point in time we had enough resource in the area to shelter 20,000 people. Volunteers from 46 different states have come here to just love our community, and so just want to say thank you to everyone who has made that possible, and we're looking forward to having a happy holiday season here in Santa Barbara. Thank you.
All right, well, that concludes our speakers for this evening. And as Chief Childers said with the utmost optimism, this will be our last meeting tonight. Yay. That round of applause is for all of our speakers for donating their time to provide the information to you on this very dynamic fire that has so many different pieces to it. And without them, we wouldn't be able to get all of that out to you. So thank you to all of our speakers here tonight. Lastly, I'd like to thank you, the community, because it's through your patience, your generosity, and your support that has lifted our spirits as firefighters through this difficult time. And without you, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So we really appreciate it, and it's noticed, and thank you very much in closing. So as this is the end, we will have all of our speakers meet you down here in front of the stage to answer any of your questions, and thank you and good night.
Okay, you've been listening into what appears to be the final community meeting